Welcome back to the Chill Stoic, your sanctuary for ancient wisdom in our bustling modern world. If your mind often feels like a crowded highway filled with racing thoughts and overwhelming emotions, you've found your guide. Don't miss out on more transformative insights. Make sure to subscribe to The Chill Stoic and unlock the profound peace of a clear mind. In today's episode, we're exploring a powerful life lesson, Pen to Peace, the Stoic path to mental clarity. It's about how the simple act of writing can help you release what holds you back and gain profound control over your inner world. This is where true self-awareness begins. Most of us are constantly bombarded by a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions. When life pulls us into its chaos, when stress is high, and our minds are racing, it feels like we're drowning in an endless current of mental chatter. In our noisy, distraction-filled world, everyone wants to speak, but few truly want to understand. Everyone wants to react, but precious few take the time to deeply reflect. This mental clutter often leaves us feeling overwhelmed, reactive, and far from the clarity we desperately crave. This brings us to a timeless life lesson from Marcus Aurelius, the profound power of writing to let go and gain clarity. Marcus journaled every day, not because he had nothing better to do as an emperor, but because reflection creates distance, and distance gives you perspective. When emotions are high and your mind is racing, journaling becomes a powerful anchor, not to escape the storm, but to step back just enough to see its true shape. He wasn't writing to impress anyone. His pages weren't filled with polished thoughts. They were raw, uneven, and repetitive because they weren't meant for the world. They were meant for him, for the part of him trying to stay upright in a world that was constantly shifting under his feet. He wrote to see his mind on paper, because when you write, the whirlwind of your thoughts has to slow down enough to become words. And when thoughts become words, they become visible, manageable. Instead of drowning in feeling, you start to find form. That's the first profound gift of journaling. It transforms emotion into something you can study, rather than something that controls you. Marcus didn't journal from comfort, he journaled to survive, and not just to survive day to day, but to survive with sanity, with clarity, with strength. When he wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events," that wasn't an abstract theory. It was hard-earned wisdom captured through the deep inner work of writing. Writing creates that crucial space. When something frustrates you and you write about it, the mere act of putting it into a sentence can immediately reduce its hold on you. It forces you to name what you're experiencing, and naming, as psychologists know, is power. The renowned psychologist Carl Jung spoke often about the unconscious mind, how what we don't understand in ourselves often rules us. But journaling brings the unconscious into the light. The unknown becomes known. That's how you reclaim your power. You face your thoughts, you don't flinch, you don't distract yourself. You sit with the truth and invite it onto the page, and once it's on the page, you can begin to see, where am I lying to myself? Where am I avoiding responsibility? Where am I falling into patterns that no longer serve me? Marquez did this constantly. He questioned himself more than anyone else, not because he hated himself, but because he loved the idea of becoming better. His journal was his way of sculpting his soul, every page a chisel, every entry a strike of self-honesty. That's what Stoicism demands, not coldness or detachment, but radical ownership of your inner life. And writing is one of the most powerful ways to live that ownership. Marcus chose reflection, and it profoundly shows in his meditations, which are full of internal and external conflict, but always pointing back to the discipline of perception. Perception, how you choose to see what happens to you, is trained by writing. It sharpens your ability to observe yourself without judgment, to ask, what am I really feeling here? What's underneath this anger, this fear, this pride? It slows you down, and in that slowness, true insight has a chance to emerge. The Stoics knew the danger of unexamined emotions. Emotions aren't the enemy, but uncontrolled emotion can destroy empires, end friendships, and blind judgment. That's why Marcus wrote, because unchecked emotion clouds the mind, and a clouded mind can't lead, not a country, not a family, not even itself. So he wrote, some entries are reminders, others are corrections. Some are stern, others are heartbreakingly tender. He was talking to himself, but in doing so, he ended up talking to all of us. We read Marcus today because he dared to think through the chaos instead of simply reacting to it, and writing gave him the essential room to do that. When you pick up a pen or sit down at a keyboard, you're doing more than just recording your day. You're excavating your soul. You're making a powerful statement. I'm not going to be a prisoner of my mind. I'm going to become its master, thought by thought, word by word. Journaling doesn't always feel profound in the moment. Sometimes you're just dumping frustration onto the page, but even that, especially that, is valuable because it's honest. And honesty with yourself is the absolute foundation of any real lasting change. Marcus didn't filter his thoughts, and that's what makes his writing timeless. He admitted when he was frustrated, when he failed, when he was tired, tempted, and trying to be good in a world that often rewards the opposite. That kind of raw honesty is rare, and it's what makes him so trustworthy. He wasn't performing, he was processing, and in that genuine process, he became stronger. Writing is a way to interrupt the noise, to step outside the blur of life and truly ask, what's really going on here? And that distance, that crucial pause, is often all you need to see your situation with fresh eyes. You start to recognize patterns. You start to see what you consistently react to and what you've been avoiding. Slowly, a kind of inner map forms, a record of your thinking, a detailed trail of your transformation. Marcus left us that trail not on purpose, but thankfully he did. Because in reading it, we're reminded that wisdom isn't found ready-made. It's meticulously built. It's carved out of daily practice, of showing up to the page when you don't feel like it, of wrestling with your thoughts until something clear and grounded emerges. We often think of writing purely as expression, but in Stoicism, writing is profound inspection, a tool for truth, a way to track the crucial distance between who you are and who you aspire to be. That distance matters deeply because it's easy to deceive others, but far harder to deceive yourself if you're honest. And on the page, that honesty mercilessly reveals your real work. It shows you where you've been acting out of ego, where you've been blaming others, where you've abandoned your principles. But it also illuminates where you've grown, where you've paused instead of reacted, where you've chosen strength over impulse, where you've shown compassion in the face of chaos. The page remembers even when you don't. And the more you write, the more you evolve, not in grand epiphanies, but in quiet, consistent clarity. This reflection compounds powerfully over time. That's how Marcus trained his mind to lead, not just others, but himself. And it's how you can do the same. You don't need perfect words. You don't need a complex system. You just need to start. Write about what's bothering you, what you're afraid of, what you're avoiding, what you want, what you miss, what you're grateful for. No one has to see it. That's the beauty. It's not a performance. It's a profound practice. And that practice, consistently repeated, builds something priceless: perspective. And from perspective comes peace. And from peace, you move through the world less reactive, more grounded, more aware. You stop saying everything that comes to mind. You stop chasing things that don't truly matter. You start choosing your thoughts with intention. You become more deliberate, more discerning, more disciplined, and not because someone told you to, but because you discovered what truly matters. That's what writing does. That's why Marcus did it, and that's why you should too. And that concludes our journey into Pen to Peace, the Stoic path to mental clarity. Remember, your mind is your greatest asset. Learn to master it one word at a time. If this life lesson has inspired you to pick up a pen and explore your inner world, know that countless more transformative insights await. Don't forget to subscribe to The Chill Stoic to continue cultivating a life of profound strength, clarity, and enduring peace. Until next time, stay steady, stay grounded, and most of all, stay true.